in the semifinals.
And that goes great for Luke here because with the Delver decks, you really don't want to have your days kind of be AKA a blank here. And being on the play is huge advantage here for Luke.
Yeah. So it does look like Seth kept a Chalice of the Void, but did not keep a way of casting it on the first turn.
What are those two lands down at the bottom there?
I believe it's a Mishra's Factory and an Eldrazi Temple.
Okay.
So he has the mana. He has Eldrazi specific mana for the Eldrazi Mimic. If he plays that first turn, or maybe depending on what Luke's doing, he uses the Wasteland instead. But Chalice of the Void, as it exists right now, it's not going to be first turn play.
Deathrite Shaman.
Deathrite Shaman, Luke.
So yeah, now Wasteland doesn't look quite as attractive for Seth, so probably going to get hit with the Mimic. If Luke doesn't turn one Deathrite Shaman, Wasteland looks a little better there to maybe pull the trigger on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Luke does not have any sort of Cabal Therapy action that in his deck.
It's still a fine hand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but do like seeing that Gitaxian Probe Cabal Therapy interaction.
I mean, Seth still has turn 2. Well, he had turn 2 Chalice of the Void.
Yeah. Another Deathrite Shaman.
And a Delver. Very good start here for Luke.
Yeah, I do like the looks of this. If that Delver of Secrets can flip soon, we might see Luke be able to kind of press in.
I feel like you have to Chalice one here. Yep.
Yeah.
That's what we're going to see. It's going to feel bad because he's going to essentially Wasteland himself with his own Wasteland.
Mm-hmm.
Or if he decides to play the Factory.
Yeah. Also with the since he does have to push his board position ahead, City of Traders is going to create more fuel for the double Deathrite.
Seth gets a little extra time as the Delver did not flip.
Yeah, that 2-1 Mimic holding back the 1-1.
Holding back, yep. Fighting off the team right now.
Yeah, these Deathrites just don't have much fuel at this point. Not going to see much soon.
I would like to see Seth kind of, run out the Jitte, saddle up the Mimic, and then try to force in the issue before that Delver gets flipped.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if he can fade another flip here. I mean, yeah, Seth was going to have to bite the bullet at some point there.
Exactly. He does need to push his hand forward. So, yeah. Luke looking a little better than last round when we saw Delver facing off against Eldrazi. But he does fade the flip.
What does Luke have? It looks like a couple lands in there?
Yeah, I think I see at least 3 lands. A fetch, a duel, and a wasteland. Don't know what that spell is. I believe it is a spell.
So one of the subtle interactions with Delver sometimes is, especially with a fetch land right there, is if you don't like, if it's another land or something with the Delver, when you peek, you'll just crack the fetch land. I don't need this land. Kind of get the reshuffle. You don't get the re-trigger their Delver, so to speak, but you do get to draw another card that necessarily wouldn't have been that land if it's on top.
Absolutely.
And Luke, realizing that he's probably going to lose his Delver here, just sends it into the red zone.
Yeah, it's like, I'd rather trade the Delver with the Mimic than with the GT.
Yeah, this seems kind of just like snap equipped here.
Equip Mimic.
And let's battle.
Yeah, probably take it out in combat. Well, Luke has some sort of follow-up.
So he drew a Brainstorm. He did the Chalice check first.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he just wants to be able to just do that 2 more damage. You still are able to cast your 1-drops, despite Chalice of the Void being at 1, so having that extra instant, being able to activate for the 2 damage.
And Luke looks locked out at the moment. He has a Delver of Secrets in hand.
Yeah, those are not the kind of spells that he wants to be seeing at this point.
So Luke's main deck has kind of a forked bolt. And a lot of times what you'll see a lot of different Delver players do, that's kind of like one of the flex spots in the deck, right?
Mm-hmm.
You kind of have the fork bolt, maybe it's a dismember, maybe it's a call against command. Luke, for this tournament, chose to go with fork bolt, not obviously at its best against Eldrazi.
Right. Yeah, there's something. If Luke were to design it more for this matchup, what do you think you would see there?
I mean, I really like how well positioned Call Against Command is.
Okay, do
so
like
kind
Call
of in
Against Command?
my flex spot for kind of the Grixis Delver deck, that's kind of where I would be.
Okay. I was curious between that or Dismember as a main deck removal spell in that slot.
You just get so many more options with Call Against Command.
Yeah, it really is a pretty powerful spell.
Mm-hmm. So Deathrite, one of the cards that Luke kind of really needs to try to get back in this game here.
Yeah,
it's only going to be uphill sledding, though.
Yeah. I mean, we could, yeah.
And Delver wasn't going to get in the battlefield anyway.
Yeah, the true name. It'll be interesting to see what he does with the true name here, whether he decides to go on the offensive or defend against the Thought-Knot Seer. But I really think he needs to hold back because of the Omizawa's Jite at this point.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Does the check again.
Yep. Oh.
Yep, he thought about it.
He thought about it for a second and saw that Jite on the other side.
Yeah, and so this is why you come to a tournament like this to play Eldrazi, right? Just the raw power that Chalice on 1 has against a lot of the decks in the field, such as the various Delver builds, even the 4-color Leo.
Yeah, Reality Smasher though doesn't really care about True Name Nemesis. Yeah, you can block, absorb one of that, but that other 4 damage is getting in there. Yeah, despite Luke kind of looking like he had some play at the beginning of this game, Eldrazi is just doing its thing that it wants to do.
Yep.
And look at the table of circles of protection that were open on stream, and there's no circle of protection for colorless here.
No circle of protection, Eldrazi. Is that another Chalice in Seth's hand? Looks like it a little bit.
Yeah, I believe so. Also an endless one.
Yeah, Luke. He's gonna need another true name if he wants to at least even attempt to try to turn the corner here.
Mm-hmm. He only has one more in his deck.
And we're going to saddle up Reality Smasher here.
Yep. I don't know. Yeah.
Yep.
Block one of it. With that equip, I really don't see how Luke comes back.
Yeah, that should pretty much seal this one up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We have an endless.
We have a nice
7?
saucy
5.
Yep, 5. With the 2 reduction from the eye.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, and Luke's seen enough here.
Yeah, that's all in it. All she wrote. So yeah, Eldrazi doing its thing like it did last round, dismantling the Ponder Brainstorm style decks. However, Luke having a little bit more play in his sideboard than we saw in the quarterfinals.
So one of the things that you typically see is Delver decks, they look, they're going to the sideboard, and a lot of times you see a lot of the different forces coming out against, a creature aggro deck here in the mirror, potentially get into a grindy matchup. Unfortunately, and what makes a little bit Eldrazi, favored versus a lot of these decks is Luke kind of has to keep in those Force of Wills.
Mm-hmm.
He has to be able to get some extra protection because Chalice 1 is just, that, I mean, pushes your win percentage just through the roof versus, Delver.
Right.
So he's going to have to keep in some of those Force of Wills where versus, a lot of other matchups, Luke would be bringing those out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's interesting. Kind of an interesting scenario with that, too, with the 3 count of Cavern of Souls in the main deck of Seth's deck. It really is like, I want this Force of Will for this Chalice of the Void. That's what shuts me off my game plan.
Yeah, so, I mean, there's definitely arguments for maybe bring out 1 or 2. I don't know. I don't know how he's going to board with it. Kind of going through it, like Spell Pierce, you might keep that in because you're on the play still. Chalice, I mean, it's tough. That's, there's so many things you have to worry about with this Eldrazi deck. In terms of, you got the Cavern of Souls, blanks a lot of your counter spells. I mean, Forked Bolt definitely coming out. These Lightning Bolts, they're not going to pick off Reality Smashers. They're not going to pick off Thought Not Seers. You got, what else do we got going on here? Yeah, the Forked Bolt I said coming out. I could even see maybe bringing out some of the Gitaxian Probes. Luke's going to be looking to bring in Ancient Grudge, the Edict's coming in, the Dismember's coming in, Pithing Needle probably coming in.
I could even see Cabal Therapy
So let's see.
Since he's on the play. Just even if he doesn't have the Gitaxian Probe, just blind therapy on Chalice of the Void.
I mean, that's not super unreasonable.
I mean, with some of the options, Luke has quite a few options to board out.
And then, so on Seth's side, we have Thorn of Amethyst, Sorcerer's Spyglass, Ratchet Bomb, Oblivion Sower, Fairy Macabre, All Is Dust, and Ulamog. So again, there's not going to be a ton coming in for Seth. He's able to kind of see. They have access to deck lists here. I can see the All Is Dust potentially coming in. Gets rid of True Name if he starts going wide with the Young Pyromancers. But again, Eldrazi is just so well positioned against the Delver decks.
All right. See Seth shuffling his opponent's deck. We're gonna hopefully get some good opening hands. I see chat talking about Carnage Tyrant. This Legacy tournament has been pretty interesting, showcasing the strong decks of the format, but also showcasing some old flavors as well as some new flavors. And one of the biggest flavors that we saw during this weekend was Carnage Tyrant. Carnage Tyrant, I believe the deck ended up at X and 2 by the end of the 11 rounds on Saturday.
Carnage Tyrant with Reggie. Everybody loves Reggie.
Reggie? Is it Reggie or Regis?
According to Kevin, it was Regis and Kelly.
Okay.
So Luke has Delver, Force of Will blue card, and a Wasteland. I would be very happy with that.
Yeah, that's what I. Does have a 2-mana land.
A Warping Whale.
Get
rid of the Delver.
Do you let that happen?
I got. Let's see. Luke. It doesn't look like Luke has much business then after that.
Yeah,
that may be one of the reasons he chose to protect the Delver. That's a good one. That's almost reminiscent back of the days of Standard, where you go Delver, flip Mana Leak. Oh, play my second land. Ponder almost equally, if not more powerful.
It's interesting. So Seth's, because he got to flip the Delver in the first turn, and because Seth has the Ancient Tomb as his first mana source and something he's probably going to rely on subsequent turns, it really puts quite a clock on Seth. It's going to be a close one.
It looks like Seth has 3 Endless One in his hand.
Oh, unless the Ancient Tomb goes away.
That's 3 Endless One, right?
Yeah, that's 3 Endless One. Endless 3.
I don't know about running out the Jitte first. Do you run the creature out first?
I think you do.
Even though it's at, it would be,
yeah, daze it.
I guess that's what he was kind of anticipating, the days there. But I mean, with 3 Endless One, I think you would want to, bait out some of the Endless Ones to try to get that Jitte on board and then maybe online with one of the creatures.
Mm-hmm. The mana for Seth this game is has been rather
Yes.
sketchy, unfortunately. Does choose to wasteland the City of Traders.
I mean, there's an argument both ways, right? Seth obviously is going to need to play another land at some point.
Yeah, just trying to tempo him out. I mean, we talk about the Daze Wasteland Stifle tempo advantage. Not a Stifle deck, Luke, and not really relevant here anyway. So, Gurmag Angler.
I like paying 1 mana for my Gurmag Anglers as well. And Seth's hand's getting really heavy at this point. It looks like he went back-to-back draws with Reality Smasher and an Endbringer, and that's really not going to help him here, especially with double Wasteland and his land being of City of Traders currently.
Yeah, so he's on a 3-turn clock now. I mean, he can create an endless army of endless ones in order to continually block the Gurmag Angler.
And this is one of the aspects of Delver. Just you only need 1 or 2 lands, keep wasting them out of the game, and sometimes flip Delver just goes the distance.
Yeah, and that was well played. Despite the fact that quarterfinals we didn't see Delver really pull one, Luke navigating that game perfectly, deciding to fire off the Wastelands pretty aggressively because he knew he wanted to delve that Gurmag Angler into play and seal the game.
So Seth brought in, or no, that's his sideboard right now. It looks like Seth boarded out a Chalice.
Okay, you think he maybe doesn't
I think I would have kept
one?
in Chalice even on the draw there, just because if you hit a soul land, basically, they have to have Daze or Force of Will. I think it's fine. Just to, I mean, for what it does versus the deck, it's just so powerful.
Yeah.
I personally keep him in even on the draw.
Okay.
Luke here looks like he's going to be taking out some of the Dazes.
Yeah.
Daze still is fairly decent. I mean, it's on the draw. Obviously, though, you don't want them all. I could see him maybe leaving in 1, 2 tops, but even then, I'm not sure he's going to leave them in. Again, it depends kind of what he is going to be bringing in.
Yeah. So it looks like players presenting.
Yeah, I don't think Seth, though, boarding out a Chalice on the draw is completely unreasonable, though.
Okay. I did see Simian Spirit Guides to go along with it. There
Seth, though, going back on the play, is going to want all 4 Chalice, definitely.
Do you think he's going to want the Simian Spirit Guides? Kind of saw those in the board as well. Do you want those for the first turn Chalice?
I could see the Spirit Guides coming back in as well, just to get an extra way, because you want as many ways as possible in your deck to go turn 1 Chalice, make Luke have the Force of Will. So Simian's probably coming in.
Okay. He did board it back in.
Yep. But yeah, and like I said, Seth doesn't have to board a lot. Eldrazi already have a pretty solid matchup versus the Delver decks. I mean, I know every time I sat across an Eldrazi deck, I just kind of was like, oh my god.
Not this.
Yeah. So, oh wow, Ancient Tomb and Chalice. So we're going to see a turn 1 Chalice from Seth here. He's going to put Luke to the test to see if he has the Force of Will.
Oh, but Luke having to mulligan to 6.
Oh,
that
that's
really.
yeah. But, this was also the cool aspect, right, with Delver when they changed the mulligan rule, right? You're like, okay. But unfortunately, it works a little better on the play, given the new Scry rules, but.
Yeah. All right, let's see.
Here we go. I see lands. I don't see a Force of Will in Luke's hand.
No,
Luke will have an Ancient Grudge to potentially get rid of a Resolve Chalice.
Okay.
But that's still tough sledding. He's not going to have access to Brainstorm, Ponder to kind of dig into it.
Yeah. Force of Will Chalice.
The Spaghetti Monsters might be taking this one. Bow down to your Spaghetti Overlords.
Well, he does have the Force of Will in this 5 card.
Force of Will, does he have a blue card?
No, not at this point.
Oh, that's brutal. What a tease, just having the force will, but not the blue card to pitch.
Yeah.
Oh, he does.
Oh, he
You
does.
lied
Okay.
to me, Mikey.
All right. No, you lied to me.
You said he doesn't have the blue card. He did.
Okay. Apparently
Clearly
I
a
lied to you.
magician.
All right. I'm a liar. My pants are on fire. All right. So he had the fourth. He had the pitch card. He's working with what, 4 cards now? One of which is the Underground Sea.
He will pay that price every time.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But it's still, he did what he needed to do to stay relevant.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting.
Oh, yeah. Here we go. Cabal, get the soul read.
Blind therapy. Nope.
What was the name? Do we know? Naming Thought Not Seer was the call.
Yeah, I thought not.
I mean, with an opponent going Ancient Tomb, turn to Thought Not obviously puts a ton of pressure on. And kind of with Luke having the mulligan, it's probably one of the more reasonable blind names there. Ratchet Bomb coming in for Seth.
Mm-hmm.
Deals with Flip Delver. Or no, it's you got to get it to 1, right? Keeps the original, the flipped converted mana cost.
Yeah, that was a recent change, I
Yep.
believe, came out with Shadows.
Gets a free Eldrazi Mimic. Thanks to the Eye of Ugin.
Yeah, that was off the top. 5 power worth of pressure right there.
So one of the things that's nice about Delver is it tends to mulligan well, and with that, it tends to run pretty good off the top as well.
Yeah, with the and most of that has to do with the brainstorms and the ponders. Unfortunately, he doesn't look like he has a follow-up other than the one he pitched to Force of Will.
Young Pyromancer.
Yeah.
He needs 1 spell to really try to get this going online here.
Mm-hmm. He does have his opponent does have Ratchet Bomb in order to he could possibly play this turn. If he does get the 1 spell to make the first token, Cabal Therapy can easily take care of the Ratchet Bomb in his hand. So I can see him playing it out this turn.
Yeah, it doesn't look like he has anything else to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just more lands. So that might put the kibosh on any sort of token strategy.
He drew a spell. I'm not sure what. Is that a Delver in hand? It looked like a checklist card.
Probably not a Mayor of Everbrook.
There it is. Yep, that's a Delver.
Delver go.
And the bomb ticks up.
Yep, choosing to ramp up since he didn't show any instance of sorceries to get the token army.
Yeah, you're not going to put kind of him on the having action obviously after the mulligan there.
Mm-hmm. Now, you talked about boarding out Lightning Bolt. It's interesting in this situation. So Luke is at 13. If he flips Lightning Bolt here doesn't flip anything though, but Lightning Bolt into Lightning Bolt could seal the game with 2 attacks of the Delver and 2 Lightning Bolt. But
well, now the Ratchet Bomb would just go off on the Delver.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Sorry. I keep forgetting about the convert mana cost thing.
I mean, there's probably some number of Lightning Bolts. I'm not sure all 4 are in there. Really good play there for Luke with a True Name Nemesis.
Yeah.
I'm sure he was. It was a bittersweet non-flip by the Delver seeing the True Name Nemesis there.
Yeah, we're probably going to see that Ratchet Bomb eventually ratchet up to 3. Although that does take out one of his own attackers. It's really worth getting rid of the True Name because it's not doing anything anyway. Seth is really just drawing dead this turn. None of the bigger Eldrazi have shown up yet.
Well, he's been flooding out. One of the things the deck has as kind of a mechanism for when it does flood is the Eye of Ugin. He's still just 1 mana short, however, from activating that.
Yeah. Does he have it in hand right now? I think he might.
Yeah. But again, you know, and this is Delver, you know, it tends to run very well off the top. Also mulligans very well.
Yeah, I mean, he was down to 5 cards, and he's in this game. Maybe not in a turn.
Ooh, takes out the Eye before he's able to get it online.
Okay.
Which is interesting there because in order to activate the Eye of Ugin, you're forcing Seth to take 4 damage. And with where life totals are, I guess you could make a potential argument for him just letting him have the eye.
Mm-hmm.
Thought not off the top.
Yeah. So you play that city and jam it. Uncounterable. Doesn't matter anyway.
Did he not swing in with True Name?
No, I think he values True Name more in defense right now.
But he wasn't going to have a chance to block. That's
true.
Yeah. Oh, and Reality Smasher here. I think he's going to, I don't know. I thought, yeah. He probably had to serve there, right? Because he was just going to lose a True Name. I probably would have attacked with True Name, Cabal Therapy just to get a token, and then you get a blocker there.
Oh, yeah, that would have been a much better line.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure Seth has locked this one up. Yep, and there's a handshake.
And there's the handshake. The Eldrazi Menace continue their march against the Delver decks. All right.